Alright guys, what's up? It's Away. This is Mr. Hodges, and this is the Stage 12 Study Guide. This test, the main grammar component is all the verb endings for the present, imperfect, and perfect tenses. We've already known the present tense, and we knew a little bit of the imperfect and perfect, but we've added 4 new endings to complete those 3 tenses, and we're going to use them. So, first things first, up here, these top boxes are the endings for the present tense verbs, imperfect tense verbs, and perfect tense verbs. We're going to give the endings, talk about what they mean, and then go from there. So, we're going to start with the first person singular. For the present tense, we have O, S, T, and this may sound familiar. We've done this a bit. Over here we got mus, tis, and unt. So those are your 6 endings for the present tense. O, S, T, mus, tis, unt. Right. For the imperfect tense, we knew bought, bont, and you definitely know when we see BA in a verb, we know it's was blanking. So bought means, well, we'll talk about that in a second. The 4 endings we learned there were bomb, bombus, boss, and botus. So we have bomb, boss, bot, bombus, botis, bot. Notice the similarities between the 5 out of 6 of these with the present tense. Basically everything is the same except for the M here. This ends with M, this is O, but everything else. ST, must, tis, ent. These all have ST, must, tis, ent, just with a BA in front of it. That should help you remember who's doing what when we get around to the subjects. Now the perfect tense is a little bit more different. So we have I and emus, isti, istis, it, errant. So we have, e, isti, it, emus, istis, errant. Notice here we have t, mus, tis, unt. So that helps, but for first person singular, the ending is I, and for the second person singular, the ending is isti. These will get added on. These endings get added on to the second part of the verb, which we'll talk about down here, and these 2 get added onto the first part of the verb. All right. So when we're talking about first, second, third person singular, plural, we're talking about different subjects. So if you see a verb ending with an O, a bomb, or an E, or the sound E, the letter I, that's first person singular. Your subject is going to be I. Second person singular, S, boss, or isti, your subject is going to be you. Third person, this should be third person singular. Whoops. Okay. And this will be he, she, or it. Oh, that doesn't fit nicely, does it? Make that sing. Or, as we talked about earlier, a nominative singular noun. Alright. Down here we have, and that'd be he, she, or it, nominative singular noun, that'd be t, bot, or it. If it ends with any of those, then that's your subject. Down here we have first person plural. It's mus, bomus, and emus. And if it ends with any form of mus, then we is the subject. Second person plural, tis, botis, or istis. That will be you plural, or y'all. And lastly, we have our third person plural subject. That's nt, bont, and errant, all ending with nt. That will be they, or a nominative plural noun. Alright, down here, so when we're talking about the perfect tense, as you recall, most of the verbs that we know, when they're in the perfect tense, they'll have a V added into them. But sometimes, that's about 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, it's gonna have a different little letter in there that hints at that. And those can be remembered by remembering this phrase. Superman has X-ray vision. So, it says in here to underline the perfect tense indicators in the following mnemonic device. Perfect tense indicators are those letters that show us that a verb is in the perfect tense. This isn't always the case, but this helps you remember a bunch of them. So, as we remember, V is a very common one. X is another common one. S, U, and sometimes double S, as we will see in the examples down here. Okay, so Superman has X-ray vision, and that'll help. So, down here it says, translate the given verbs using the subject. So we have dicit and dixit. Dicit means says. Dixit has the X in it. That makes it perfect tense. So dixit would be a form of said. Sentit means feels. Sensit has the S in there. That makes it felt. Amat means loves. Amawit means loved. Has the V in there. So on and so forth going down. So like I said earlier, for the perfect tense, these 6 endings right here, e, isti, it, imus, isti, serunt, those will get added on. Those will replace the it at the ends of these verbs right here in the perfect tense in all of these. Dixit, sensit, amawit, dormiwit, habuit, fecit, and erat, which is actually imperfect, so that doesn't count. But for those first 6, you will replace the it ending with any of these perfect tense endings on the second form of the verb that you're given in a vocab list setting. The first one, dicit, sentit, amat, dormit, habeo, and facit, those are all present tense. Those dicit is says, sentit is feels, amat is loves, dormit is sleeps, habeo, that should be habet. Oops. Habet is has, facit is makes, est is. And that's irregular. That kind of does its own thing, so we'll talk about that separately. You'll replace the T in a lot of these. You'll replace the T with either, if you want to be present tense, OST, mustisent, or if you want to be imperfect, bom, bas, bot, bom, is, batis, bot. So these first 2 will go on the first part of the verb. This last one, perfect tense, will be added on to that second part of the verb. So down here you have a bunch of different words and a bunch of different tenses, and you have to give the English or the Latin for it. So we have dico. Well, we know dicit means says, and it ends with O. When you look up here, we see O, first person singular, subject is I. You want to try and be able to do this without having to look at your chart too much. Sum is irregular. That means I am. That's the irregular first person singular form of est. Fekistis, istis ending. That is the y'all ending. And fecit is the perfect form of made or did. So that means y'all made or did. Habebamus ends with a bamus. That means we. The ba means it's imperfect. And habet means has. So we were having. Okay. Dormie bas. The bas means you. The ba means were. And dormit means sleeps. Okay. Amawi, the I, this is perfect tense, so the I means I. The V means it's in the past, so, and amat means love, so this means I loved. Dixerunt, Superman has X-ray vision, has the X in it, we know it's perfect, ends with an erunt, so we know that they are doing it. We say they said. Synsisti, the isti ending is perfect, you see the S in there, that make the S in the middle right here, that makes it perfect, so we'll say the isti tells us that you did it, and we know that sentit means feels. Okay, dormiunt, just a unt here, that's present tense, that means they sleep, they are sleeping, or they do sleep. Facie bas, it's bas, that means you, the ba means were, and facit means make, so you were making or doing. Okay, habe bont, bont means they, the ba means were, having. Sentis. The S means you, and this is sentit, comes from here, so it means feel, so you feel, present tense. Habuit has the U in it, ends with a T, so we know it's perfect, and we know the subject is he, she, or it, and it's perfect tense, so we know it's he had. Eramus, that is the imperfect form of is, and it ends with mus, so we know it's we were. Sumus is the present form of that, we are. Faciebas. I feel like I've already done this one. You were making or doing. My bad. I'm a bomb. The bomb means I am doing it. The ba means was, and amat means loves. Amamus, be present tense. We love. Fakitis, that's present tense. And that is y'all love. Synsisti, feel like I've done that one too already. I definitely have. Isti means you. and the perfect form, you have the S in Cincy, making it perfect tense. We have here habui, ends with an I. We know it's I, and we also know that makes it perfect tense. That U also makes it perfect tense. So I had amawistis. That V makes it perfect. The istis makes it y'all. Okay. Now over here we have our Latin to English, or English to Latin, rather. Y'all were. Okay, that is the second person plural form of erat right here, which is just era with the tis ending. They loved. Okay, so we're going to take the second part of loves here for the perfect tense, ama with the V to make it perfect tense, and then we need our they ending, our third person plural ending, which in the perfect tense is erunt. You had, that's perfect tense as well. We're going to take habet, like find the second part with the U, that'll be habu, and then we'll add our ending on for you, which is e isti it, emus isti serunt. The second one, habuisti, means you had. We were feeling, so we take sentit, since it's were blanking, that makes it imperfect. We'll take off that T there. It'll actually grow an E. That's something we'll talk about soon. You don't have to worry too much about it. If you just get senti for this as your stem, that's fine. And the we were comes from bombs, the imperfect first person plural ending. Okay. I was, that is eram, I made. So we'll take fekit and replace that IT with the first person singular perfect ending, which is I. Y'all were having. So we take habet, take off the T, and we will add the y'all were ending from the imperfect tense, which is batis. We said, we'll take that second principal part of dixit and replace it. We'll take the IT off and replace it with emus for we. I said, we'll take the IT off of dixit and replace it with the first person singular for I. Letter I. Word for they slept. We'll take the second person, a second form of dormit, dormiwit. Take the V, take off the IT and replace it with the they ending, which will be erunt. And then lastly, we have y'all are, which is estis. Alright, so down here we have just a declension review. Hopefully you guys remember these. First declension, all the A endings. Nouns with nominative endings are the subject of the sentence doing the action. Dative or ooh, I made a mistake. Good lord. Indirect object. Direct object. Great. So, dative nouns are the indirect object. We'll talk about they're translated as to blank or for blank, and the accusative nouns with accusative endings are the direct object. They're receiving the action. And the order goes a little something like this. First declension is A, AE, AM for the singulars. So that's nominative, dative, and accusative singular. And then for the plural is AE, IS, AS. So we have I, I, is, us. Okay. Second declension, nominative singular ending is US or R. The dative ending is O. Accusative ending is UM. Oops. Letter I is nominative plural. IS is dative plural, just like the first declension. And OS is the accusative plural. These two lines here signify that the third person nominative singular can be basically anything. The dative ending is I. The accusative singular is EM. Plural nominative is ES. Dative plural is EBUS. And accusative plural is the same as the nominative, and that's ES. Okay, so I have about a minute left here before this thing cuts me off. Basically, I'll read the first couple lines of this to you. This is from the story. Clemens was standing in the middle of the street. Many Pompeians, which were hurrying to the port, were hurrying past the servant very quickly. Clemens, however, was watching the walls and buildings burning carefully. "Oh gods," Clemens cried, "why have you sent these flames? Why have y'all destroyed my city? We believed y'all. We always believed in y'all, or gave our belief to y'all. We made sacrifices to the gods, to the Lares, to the family shrines. And why are you punishing the citizens of Pompeii? Why did you kill my master?" And there we'll leave it. Godspeed.